Apple just dropped some new iPhones, and if you're a content creator, you're going to want to check these out. What's up? My name's Royce, and welcome to my channel where I talk about all things film and tech. And today, we're going to be talking about the 3 new iPhones that Apple just dropped. The iPhone 17, 17 Pro, and lo and behold, they're all new iPhone 17 Air. Yes, you heard that right. Air as in this is the thinnest iPhone that Apple has ever made. And honestly, I think Apple's just returning to their roots before the whole big screen phase became a thing. Before that, Apple was always trying to make all their devices as thin as possible. But before we get into that, let's talk about the iPhone 17. And what's always interesting with these new iPhone iterations, everything that's in the Pro version of an iPhone ends up just being standard in the next iPhone. So with the iPhone 17, it's pretty much everything that was in the iPhone 16 Pro, minus the 3 lens camera. There's still only 2 lenses on the iPhone 17, but everything from Pro Motion, so 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen, which is amazing. So happy to have that. That's in there. The new camera, weird camera button on the side, that's there. Use it if you want. I don't know if anyone actually uses it. It's got the always on display. It's 3 times more scratch resistant and has their new A19 chip, blah, blah, blah. All that nerd stuff. But more importantly, the cameras on the back, they have the 48 megapixel fusion camera, where you get those 48 megapixels of the ultra wide lens. Then you can zoom in with that 12 megapixel camera and get some really nice resolution. But what's new with this generation of iPhones is the front camera now has an 18 megapixel, what they're calling a center stage camera. So the 18 megapixels actually makes it so you get better resolution when you're taking photos and recording video. But on top of that, you now have some really cool framing options. So you can now frame as you would normally on your front camera, but you can frame for 9:16. You can do a wide angle framing, all without even having to turn your phone, which is really nice. And with center stage in the name, what that means is using AI, they said they will be able to recognize when somebody else is in the frame with you with that front camera and automatically adjust the framing for you. So if you have a bunch of people in frame, it'll automatically make it wider, or if it's just you or, one other person, it'll make it smaller. So you don't have to do all the thinking. So that's just going to make taking those selfies with the front camera or recording all that content with the front camera that much better. And of course, they're saying that sports that all-day battery life. We all know that claim may vary, but that's a whole other story. Bottom line is you're getting a lot of what used to be Pro features in the standard iPhone lineup with the iPhone 17. Now, before going to the iPhone 17 Pro, let's now talk about this weird middle child, the iPhone Air. Not even the iPhone 17 Air, it's just the iPhone Air. And what's interesting is it's actually taking some features that will be in the iPhone 17 Pro. So the chip that they're using in this phone is not just the A19 chip, it's the A19 Pro chip, which will also be found in the 17 Pro, but it only has one back camera lens. And let's just talk about the design. It's super thin. That's really awesome. They say it's going to be like nothing you've experienced before holding this phone, but that lens pattern and design looks similar to another phone. I won't get into it, but interesting design choice. But if you worry that this is going to be the dumbed down version of any of these phones because of how thin it is, but in some crazy way, they've actually made it more powerful than the iPhone 17. As I mentioned, it comes with that A19 Pro chip. You're still getting the Pro Motion display, all those cool Pro features that were on the iPhone 16 Pro, still getting all day battery life, and you're getting that improved front camera with the 18 megapixels center stage. So it's going to automatically adjust the framing if you want it. The new Air also has the new camera control button, like literally everything in the iPhone 17 is in the Air, just with the beefed up chip. And even with that single lens on the back, even though I was a little disappointed about that, they still call it a 48 megapixel fusion camera. So you're still going to be able to get that 48 megapixel ultra wide framing, which is really nice, but you still be able to zoom in 2 times to get that 12 megapixel telephoto angle as well. It's cool how they're still able to implement that with just one lens. Also, what they're adding in, I'm not quite sure if this is going to be specific to the iPhone Air. They weren't really clear on that, but you'll be able to record dual capture video. So you'll be able to capture video from your front and back camera at the same time. 6.3-inch screen, so the screen's still going to be massive. Comes in some cool colors there. It's really interesting to see how this plays out. I feel like this is definitely kind of a beta test in a sense, because I think this is what's really going to be iPhones moving into the future. They really want to push that thin design. So I think this is them, giving us a little feeler like, how do you guys like it? You a fan? And if they see that it sells well, I wouldn't be surprised if the iPhone 18 or 19, every phone becomes that thin. Now let's talk about the iPhone 17 Pro. All those features in the iPhone 17, you got the Pro Motion display, 3 times better scratch resistance. Still comes in those 2 sizes, so you get the Pro and the Pro Max. And aside from this interesting redesign that they've done with how the camera lenses is laid out and even like the weird off color pattern on the back. I don't know if I'm really a fan of this, but you know, that's another story. I'm not really here to talk about the design, but more so with the cameras on the back. All three camera lenses now are 48 megapixels, that fusion camera. So now you can have up to 8 times zoom on your back lenses, and no matter which one you're using, you know you're getting that full resolution. So you don't have to worry about the lenses shifting or swapping, because we all know that that happens sometimes and you don't even want it to. It swaps to a different lens. You're like, well, hold up. No, I don't want that. I want the better lens. So no matter what lens that you're using on the back now, they're all going to be the same. And you still get that nice 4K 120 video recording. But on top of that, they've also now included being able to record ProRes RAW. ProRes RAW on a phone. Despite what you may think about using ProRes RAW in like your workflow, that is absolutely insane that we're going to have that power to be able to utilize all the information possible coming from the lens from a video standpoint to be able to use in post is absolutely ridiculous. On the front, the 17 Pro has that same 18 megapixel center stage camera as well. Something I didn't mention though, which is on all of them, with that front camera, they also improved the image stabilization. So if you're doing a lot of movement, some running, but you want to film with that front camera, you'll get to take advantage of those more advanced stabilization options. They're also introducing Gen Lock. So if you have a bunch of these synced up together, it's really becoming clear that Apple wants the iPhone to be a major player in not just in content creators' workflows, but in big productions. They want this to be maybe not your B camera, but they want this to be your C or D camera that you have set up here. They want this to be your live broadcast camera. They want this to be your studio camera. Wherever production is happening, they want an iPhone in there. And they're taking the steps to make sure that that actually makes sense. And with having that new A19 Pro chip, it's just going to be a perfect blend where you have this ultimate content creation powerhouse of a phone, which then you can go around and start editing and everything right on that phone as well. Now, what would make this a complete package is if Apple finally just goes ahead and drops Final Cut on the iPhone. All right, it's nice, it's smooth, it's buttery on the iPad. It's amazing. They added that new vertical editing option that you can edit, you know, in vertical mode. So for me, I feel like that's kind of setting things up to where they can start implementing that on the iPhone as well, for just another simple but professional editing option that we can use when editing our content. Especially if we're shooting ProRes RAW on our phones, if we can edit that still within our phones without having to drop it to a computer, that would be bonkers. So that was just a quick reaction summary of these 3 new iPhones and kind of how I see them playing out in the content creation space, filmmaking space. I think it's really exciting. I think creators are going to do a lot of cool things with these phones. I have some ideas of how I would want to implement them. I got the 15, so it's time for me to upgrade. I'm definitely eyeing the 17 Pro. Got some stuff I want to shoot with that just to test. I think it'd be really cool. So once I get that in my hands, I'll put up a video and go into more detail about that. Let me know what you guys think about the new iPhones that were announced. Are you excited about the improved camera features? Do you think it's kind of like a letdown altogether? Drop it in the comments. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And until next time, I'll catch y'all later.